Hi YouTube, Unkert here. In this video, I want to talk about star args and keyword args and Python functions. So to demonstrate star args, I'm going to create a function that finds the median of a data set that you pass into it. So I'm going to define a function called median, and I know there is a statistics package or statistics module in Python in which you can easily find the median, and I'll probably show that in a subsequent video. But I think it's important to actually come up with some kind of function that would do it for you. So we can use this star args here, and it doesn't have to be args. The important thing is the star and then whatever you name it. And this is going to take in as many arguments as you pass into it and put them as a tuple in Python. Okay. Now we can use this in our median function to pass in any amount of arguments and find the median. Okay, so let's start defining our function. So if the amount of items we pass in is even, then we're going to take the middle two numbers and average them. And if it's odd, we're just going to take the middle number for the median, just as a refresher from 7th grade statistics. So I'm going to say if the length of the tuple that we get, which is args, if that is divisible by 2, so I'm going to say modulo 2 double equals 0. Okay, so that's even. I'm going to create another tuple. I'm going to say ordered equals sorted and then args. So we're going to sort the list of arguments, and I'm going to say our first number that we're interested in for an index is going to be n_1. That's going to be the length of the arguments. And we're going to do integer division, and we're going to subtract 1, okay? Because we actually do want an integer and not a float. And Python 3 will give us a float, so we want an integer for our index. And if you think about this, if your data set is 10 items long, and you divide that by 2, and you do integer division, you divide that by 2, you're going to get 5. You take off 1, we're going to start at index 4, okay? And remember, we start at index 0, so if we do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we want to average indexes 4 and 5 when this is sorted for our median. So our first number we do want is 4. So that's how I'm coming up with this number, okay? And our second number is just going to be the index above that, so I'm just going to take our first number and just add 1 to it. Okay, and so if it is even, this function needs to return the ordered tuple at index n_1 plus the ordered tuple at index n_2 divided by 2. And this could be a decimal number. Okay, so we're not going to do integer division, just regular division for this. Okay. Otherwise, if that doesn't work out, we're going to create an ordered tuple. So I'm going to say ordered equals sorted args, okay? And I'm going to say n equals the length of the args. So this is going to be the middle index, the length of the args, and we'll do integer division by 2, okay? So let's take another consideration. Say that the data set is 11 items long. So we'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so when it's sorted, we actually want this middle index 5 here. So because there's 5 below and 5 above, okay? And if I did 11 and divided by 2 as an integer, regular division, you get 5.5, but integer division, whatever it is, it's going to chop off the 0.5 and just bring it down to 5, okay? So that's how I'm calculating that number. I hope that makes sense. So what we're going to do here is just return the ordered tuple at index n, okay? And so to test this works, let's print out the median function with some data passed into it. So again, with the star args, I can pass in any amount of items. So I'm going to pass in 5, 2, 1, 7, and 6. So this is not sorted. But if we sorted this out, it would be 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, our median value that we should get should be 5. So let's run this. And we do indeed get 5 for our median value. So it seems to work for this else. That would be the odd number. Okay, so let's try an even number of arguments to make sure our function works. So we're going to print median, and we're going to do 4, 1, -3, 2, 9, and 6. So an even number of arguments. Now, if we think about this and order these, we'll start with -3, then we'll have 1, then 2, then 4, then 6, then 9. And since this is even, we should average the 2 and the 4, so we should get 3.0 as our median. Okay, so let's run it. And you'll see here we do indeed get 3.0. So it seems our median function does work. Pretty cool. Okay, so now let's take a look at kwargs, or keyword arguments. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this stuff, and I'm going to create a new function. And let's say that we have this event called the gentleman, which actually my friends and I, we do this little bike ride. We call it the gentleman because we enjoy adult beverages and then ride our bikes the next day. And so I'm going to call it this function the gentleman finish. Okay, and we're going to do ** kwargs. Now it doesn't have to be kwargs, but what this is going to do is going to take in a certain number of key value pairs as arguments and put it into a dictionary. Okay, and so what I'm going to say in this function, we're just going to have it print something. It's not going to return anything. We're just going to say for k, v in kwargs dot items, because we have a dictionary now. What we'll do is we'll print an f string here, and we'll pass in the key, and we'll say the place. Let's say this is results, and we'll pass in the value here. Okay, and so we'll go down here and let's call our function. So we'll say the gentleman finish, and we'll start passing in arguments. So the first argument will be Tim. That's going to equal 1. Next argument will be Aaron. That'll equal DNF for not finishing. Then we'll have Sean. That will equal 2. Joe. That will equal 3. And then let's say Ben will equal DQ for disqualified, because Ben always cheats. All right, so anyways, now let's run this function. Okay, so if we run the function here, let me move this up, we see we get Tim place 1, Aaron place DNF, Sean place 2, Joe place 3, and Ben place disqualified. Okay, now what we can do is we can actually pass in a bunch of different things. We don't have to have just *args or keyword args or just regular arguments. We can combine them all together. And we want the regular arguments first, then the *args, and then the keyword args. Okay? So let's get rid of this, and let's create just a generic function for any event, and we'll call this results. And we'll pass in the event name. Okay? We'll pass in a sub-competition. Okay, we'll pass in *args, and we'll pass in keyword arguments. Okay, and what we'll do now is we'll print, start off by introducing what this event is. So we'll say finish results of, and then we'll pass in this variable event name, with a colon there. And then we can go through our dictionary. So we can say for the key and the value in kwargs.items. Okay, what we want to do is we want to print, again, we'll do an f string, we'll print the key, which is the name, and then we'll determine the place, and then we'll pass in the value here. Okay, and then we can go down here and let's print the sub-competition. So we'll print finish results of, and we'll pass in the sub-competition here with the colon. All right, and we'll say for name in, because now we have a tuple in args, what we'll do is we'll print the name, okay? All right, so now what we can do is we can call this. We can run this function with just results. We'll pass in the event name, which is the gentleman, and then the sub-competition, which would be Strava segments, which we race on our bikes, and then we pass in the results of the Strava segments competition. So say Joe gets second, Aaron's third. Let's do fourth is Sean, and fifth is Ben. Okay, and then after that, now we'll pass in our keyword arguments. So we'll say Tim equals 1, Aaron equals DNF, Sean equals 2, Joe equals 3, and Ben equals DQ. Okay, and let's just, okay, so let's format this. All right, so now we've got this nice function that takes in regular arguments, star args, and keyword arguments. Okay, and now let's test it out. Okay, and we get, the finished results of the regular gentleman here, and then the finished results of the Strava segments as well. I hope you found this video interesting. If you did, could you please give it a like and subscribe to the channel? Thanks for watching.